You ever played any type of Warcraft game and thought to yourself, could this be a successful movie? We're here tonight at Brand Theaters watching Warcraft. I didn't like the movie. Let's back up a little bit. Let's reverse a little bit. There is enjoyment to be had watching this film. There is a ton of fan service. The director actually cared to be like, okay, let's play the game, let's play some stuff, let's learn some things, and bring it to the big screen, as opposed to other guys who are like, okay, we're gonna take Wolverine and put him over here, and we don't care about anything else. The cities look good, everybody looks their part, the orcs look super dope. This is probably gonna sound horrible. I like the orcs the most over everything in the entire movie. Anytime the orcs did anything, rather than just be shuffling down and maybe smack somebody with the hammer, I'm like, oh my God, like, these guys are brutal. But the reason I didn't like the movie, the plot was all over the place. Universal made the director cut 40 minutes out of the finished, completed, final product. So when you're watching this, you're gonna kind of be like, I feel maybe there should be a connector there, maybe a connector here, maybe a connector there. It's not like it's hard to figure out orcs, humans, bad. They don't like each other. They're gonna clash it out. Fight scenes were really good, but there wasn't enough of it. Too much exposition of why they're doing this or why they're doing that, with some kind of bad acting along the way a little bit. But the look of it is perfect. If you've played any type of World of Warcraft game or the RTS or anything with Warcraft, you're gonna see the director did his homework, and that is good. I like that. Some of the CG, like one scene, something looked really good. Like some of the orcs you can see like wet and little hairs on their arms. And then other scenes, it just kind of looked like I was watching a cartoon. So the CG, I think, had a problem deciding what it wanted to do. I like the music. Music was catchy. The music kind of got you into it when stuff was going down. All in all, with all that said, I gotta give it a 6.5. It's just the plot was bad. If you are a huge fan of Warcraft, go see it. You're gonna love the fact that the guy made it, paid attention for you. Tons of fan service everywhere in that movie, and that's rare. I like that. But the plot's horrible. It's connect the dots. We don't know where we're going. To see what the Horde Alliance, see what I did there? Had to say. Let's check that out right now. Warcraft, have you played any of the games?
I played all the games. Every single one of them. Every expansion, I played it all.
So with that said, Warcraft the movie, thoughts, opinions, feelings, how'd you feel?
I looked at this movie from two different perspectives. A fanboy's perspective, and then I tried to look at the movie from a movie perspective as well. I'm going to give this two separate reviews. As a fanboy, I loved every freaking second of it. Perfect recreations of places I know, people and characters I know, and it was done to a level of detail that was admirable. Normally when you see things that are recreated, whether it be a comic book, whether it be a video game, whether it be a book turning into a movie, all kinds of stuff are changed. I didn't feel anything was changed in this. There was a respect shown for the material I don't think I've ever seen before in a movie. They definitely took direct inspiration from the look and the feel and the locations of the game.
I enjoyed it a lot, but was it a good movie? The plot did not hang together well, you're right. But I knew what was going on because I had played the game for so many years. For me, as a big fan of the game, it was neat to go places like Iron Forge. Like, I've been there. I felt like I'd been there, and now I'm visiting an old place I used to visit, Stormwind. I felt like I was coming home. I mean, that was amazing. It was fun to see old friends in the game that, you know, the characters that you knew from the game are there and that you had interacted with. I love the attention to detail. I loved it. I did love this.
Before we begin, have you played any Warcraft games at all?
Warcraft 2 was a huge fan of the Warcraft 2 game.
With that said, Warcraft, what'd you think? How'd you feel?
I have to say I was super impressed with the orcs in this movie. Found myself actually kind of rooting for them. Found myself engaged and involved with their situation. The humans were a little less interesting. Part of it may have been the acting. Dominic Cooper is a really good actor, but as the king here, it just felt a little bit flat to me overall. I was definitely confused in a lot of places as someone who's not that familiar with the world of Warcraft. I was enjoying it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, no, I don't know everything. I'm not sure if well, I might enjoy this more if I knew who this was. Should I know who they are? I don't, so I just have to kind of go with it.
As a critic, I do understand that there were certain things in the movie that were done poorly. One of them is being the romance. The romance was not needed at all. Those characters could have coexisted with the same points and the same importance without having a romance at all. It felt tacked on and it felt cheesy. Some of the acting I felt was lighthearted. I think they were trying to do that, especially on the human side. Some of the conversations didn't seem as serious as you would think they would be. they were kind of light and fluffy. I think they did that on purpose because they were trying to do the duality between the orcs, which are just flat out freaking brutal, and then the humans being more of a lighthearted, finesse type of person or people. I think they did that on purpose, but you notice it. You notice that some of the conversations with the humans they don't have the same punch that the conversations with the orcs have.
The downside is really the writing. There were times when people are just repeating plot points back to each other or having very banal conversations that are not really that great, just kind of boring, like, oh, put him over here. Oh, is that what you want me to do? Okay, I guess I'll go do that. I'll give it a try. I didn't have that much of a problem with the plot overall.
Well, no, it was easy to follow.
I was actually following the plot. I was pretty much enjoying the story. It's a little hard because you are taking things from one side, the point of view is on the orc side or the point of view is on the human side. And that can be a little jarring if you're the kind of person that needs like an entry character to be in. If you don't understand what their frame of reference is, it can be a little hard to sort of get behind anyone or get into that.
Do I think the plot was that great? Probably not. And some of the acting wasn't quite, acting was a little sad in a few spots. But overall, I enjoyed it. I thought they were dead on. The locations are like dead on.
When it comes to the special effects, I thought they were great. I thought they were very impressive. The muscles on the orcs, the talking and the facial expressions of the orc were great. The griffin was fantastic. The magic was on point. Whenever someone casted a spell, I could feel my face just turning into this giant smile. It was so cool looking. And it felt just like the game.
Special effects were great. Loved the look of it. Again, the sounds of the orcs, the battle sequences, really exciting, really fun, but didn't really leave with that feeling of like, wow, this was amazing. Left with a feeling of, I would like to see more, sure. And that's not really good enough.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this and why?
I have to give it a 7. I did enjoy the film, would recommend it to anyone who's a fan of fantasy, action, but probably the biggest thing that actually is bringing the score down is the romance factor. Didn't work for me. The acting wasn't pulling it together, the writing wasn't pulling it together, and so that brought it way down in that regard.
I'm going to give it a 9 as a fan of the game. But I realize I'm a fan, so everyone else probably is
fine.
going to feel the same
Respect,
way.
Respect, that's fine. But then would you say, fan or not, there's enjoyment to be had?
Absolutely.
I'm going to give it 2 scores. I've never done that before. I'm going to give it a fanboy score. I'm going to give it a movie critic score. As a fanboy, I give this a 9. Hands down. This movie was a sight to behold. If you are a fan of any of the Warcraft pieces, you are going to adore this movie. This is made for you. As a critic, I'm going to give it an 8. I don't know if it's made to appeal to someone that doesn't know the backstory. Some of the acting and the choices made were made because of the lore, and they weren't necessarily made to be blockbuster movie status. So I don't see that as being a bad thing. I mean, a movie is made off of its source material, and if you're meant to like the source material, you're meant to like the movie, and this is a direct representation of the source material. My father, for example, might not like this movie. He might find it hard to follow. He might find that there's too much going on at one time. I don't think he would enjoy it without the background for it. But I don't think he'd like the games either, so I guess that makes sense.
If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so. Like this video, favorite it, share it. I want to know if you've seen this movie, what did you like about it or didn't like, and or what do you want to see in a hopeful future installment of this franchise? And remember, you heard it here at The Source.